I gotta switch this over. Sorry, I feel weird about you being on that side. Hey,
Yeah, I'm
welcome
comfortable on this
everybody.
side.
Yeah, it's better on that side.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome everybody in the chat. My name is Jeff, as
Hello.
usual, and joining me today is the lovely Gabrielle from Escaping the Cultiverse. Yeah, it's gonna be a little chat here today regarding my visit to the Vancouver Org yesterday. Lots of really fun stuff happened. We also have my lovely wife in the chat here. She is going to be hanging out in the background, starring comments. If you guys have any questions or comments regarding yesterday or anything, feel free to throw them in the chat and we will bring them up near the end. Before I get started, I do have a request that everybody could take a moment to like and subscribe to both of our channels to make sure that our videos get pushed out to more people and helps our channel grow. That would be amazing. Gabrielle, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
It's a lovely day here in Goderich, Ontario. It is 14 degrees and sunny.
Wow, I hate you. It snowed last night here, which sucks because it's that typical wet coast snow of just heavy, gross, shitty snow. So anyway, would you like to say hello to a few people in the chat here? We got some fun people in. We got D.
Yeah.
Williams from Texas. Howdy. And Cats, Bats, and Flowers. Hello from Dundas, Ontario. I don't know where that is.
I don't either. I'll have to look.
Yeah. Parallel Jen,
Dundas,
hello.
tell us where you are. Sorry, Jeff. Dundas, tell us about where you are.
Lorna, hello, my friends. Nice to see you again. D. Williams, hello. Karen, hello from Seattle. Been a while since I've been there. Auntie, hello, good people of the internets. Good to see you again. Claire, Ethical Taylor, hello. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Giamba Juice, good morning. And Kirsty Z, also from Seattle. Nice.
Seattle.
We got some Seattle fans in the house. And the George Massey. Howdy, my tunnel buddies. Yes. That's a funny one because yeah. Anybody in British Columbia knows that George Massey is the name of the tunnel between Richmond and I guess Delta.
It's a horrible tunnel.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to explain.
Greetings to Samuel. Chocolate makes the weather sunny. I am pretty much almost out of chocolate, by the way, Samuel. So just going to throw that out there. I'm just kidding. Don't send me anymore. Don't send me anymore.
You can send me.
And finally, we're going to carry on after this one. Mike G503. Hello from Portland.
Oh, can I say something? There's Poe on the go. He's in Detroit. I didn't know he was in Detroit. Nice. He's actually not that far from me then.
Yeah. And quick hop, skip, and a jump across the border.
Yep.
Cool. Hello, Poe. Thanks for joining us. Today, we are going to go over a few of my favorite clips from visiting my old friends. It's going to be a little heartbreaking because if anyone hasn't seen it, I got a hug from an old friend. And as soon as she found out that I was evil, which she didn't know immediately, unfortunately, she got pulled away. So we're going to be showing that clip as well as many others that are just funny and or disastrous. So are you guys ready?
Buckle up.
Buckle up. All right. The first clip here, this is going to be of the unfortunate hug. And this is actually from my chest cam, which I was wearing. It has a little bit better of a video. So if you guys cannot hear this, please let me know. It should be good, though.
No sound. There's no sound. Is there supposed to be sound, Jeff?
There should be sound. I don't know why there isn't. Let me try again. Can you guys not hear it? Shoot. You know, these things always seem to happen on lives, you know? You just
of course
can't win sometimes. Just can't win sometimes.
It's actually technically I can't do this stuff yet. It's really awful. It's difficult.
It's frustrating because StreamYard kind of sucks, but let's try this. Not working, so.
There we go.
Who are we? Oh, hey, Kathy. How's it going?
Hi. Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness. I got a hug. I know. I got to tell you guys, this hurts every time I watch this because Kathy is such a lovely person. And she was so genuinely happy to see me. Like you could see it in her face and you can hear it in her voice, just how happy she was to see me. And then of course you'll see shortly after she's being pulled in by James, who is instructed to. He's a nice guy too, but he has his orders, so he follows them as needed. But
it looked like James was doing it reluctantly.
I will let you know that we are filming, we are live streaming, and James is going to tell you. And you can just look on her face, like you can tell it's sinking in real quick here. She sees the camera, she sees my GoPro on my chest, and this other guy, Nathaniel, who is amazing too, who joined me. He's got a full camcorder and a monopod set up. So come in. But I really appreciate the hug. It's nice to see you again. Are you in touch with Kyle at all? Kyle Connor?
Yeah, of course.
How's he doing?
Fantastic.
Is he still down in the SO or?
He's in Florida.
He's in Florida. Cool. Have a good day.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Here you go, guys. I mean, like it's so heartbreaking. And just for some context, Kyle, who is asking about, is her son, and the father of Kyle is a declared suppressive person who was doing Scientology on his own in Washington State, actually, and he got declared for that and various other things. But
I can tell you a little bit more about that.
We should definitely do a live about that. But yeah, as we're watching James pull her in, like he's being very gentle about it, and she knows what to do. She's been around for a long time.
Yeah, Lorna popped it up there. 50 years she's been in. She's like an old timer. And it appears to be that she's actually on staff. She's been on staff, off staff. She's like a struggling artist. She's always lived just barely above poverty. In all the years that I was in the org with her. She's a lovely lady. She's very artistic. And it's very sad. And all of her kids, I believe, are in the SO now.
Yeah, so her kids would be Angela, Priscilla, and Kyle. So Angela and Priscilla, I'm not sure, but I know Angela and Priscilla are in Canada OSA. So they are security, they're very, very high security people.
Yeah, they could be watching us too, Jeff.
It's true. Yeah. Hey, Angela and Priscilla. Hello. They were interesting people for sure. I went to school with. No, I was on staff with Angela. I don't know if I went to school with her. I forget now, though.
Yeah.
But
I was on staff with Kyle. He was the director of communication in Vancouver for a very long time. He's just the most adorable guy you would ever meet. Sweet as pie. And now he's at Flag. So
yeah, he's in Florida. That's what she said. Who knows though? They keep people updated with where people are. So Lorna says I purchased one of her paintings online a few years ago, and the church made her give me the money back.
Yeah.
And not sell me the painting. Wow. I will say something about her though, is she runs a meetup that is held like meetup.com, something about painting therapy or something like that. And she holds it at the org here in Vancouver. So watch out for that, because it's a tricky way to get people in. She's a nice lady, but she's still a Scientologist under Scientology control, and still is going to try and trick people. So,
and she's desperate. Most Scientologists that I've encountered in Vancouver are desperate for money, because there's so much pressure put on them to donate, and Vancouver still doesn't have an ideal org. So it's probably why she's on staff. That's my hunch, because you can either donate your face off financially or just join staff, and the numbers are dwindling, so that's probably was her best option.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the greater good.
The greater good. Yeah. So this next clip here is actually not a Scientologist. He's a French guy who just happened to be walking by, and he kind of got some interest into what we were doing here. But yeah.
When did they stop like having people come out and recruit? They used to sit out here with tables back in the day.
Still have it.
Huh?
I used to be here 40 years ago and they were here.
Yeah, they're never going anywhere, my friends.
No, they make so much money.
Did you know? No, they don't. No, they're dying. Did you know that it's a cult?
I know that for a while.
Yeah. I love that. I know that. It's so French Canadian. I found it really interesting though. This guy thinks that they make a lot of money, and they do not make a lot of money, especially in this location, which is probably what he's referring to.
Yeah.
Well, you're a smart man.
I bought a book and I read it. I said, "Whoa, this guy is spaceman."
Oh.
Whoa.
Spaceman Hubbard, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I remember they were here. Yeah. This guy, he's still alive or?
No.
1986.
Yeah.
So the other one, the parasite around him.
It's so funny.
Keep going, building.
Yeah.
There's everywhere, I think, eh?
Well, they say they are, but they're dying. There's there's less than 30,000 members worldwide. But the leader right now says there's millions. Not true.
Yeah.
But he tricks a lot of people to give money, so we're speaking out against them.
If you notice,
Good. Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
There you go. Some support from the lovely French Canadian guy.
He is so French Canadian. It doesn't get, you can't get any more French Canadian than him, eh?
No, literally cannot. Literally.
I love it.
So I was like, there's quite a few of those interactions, and I just love seeing that kind of thing. I think this next one, if you want to kill a bit of time there, Gabe, I'll find this next clip.
I'll answer a quick question. Somebody's asking, how much do staff get paid? Not a lot. It varies. You get like a percentage of what the organization makes on a weekly basis, and it's called it's a unit system. So depending on where you are in your position on the org board, if you're an executive, you get more units, and and then you can also make commissions if you're selling books.
Yeah. What's an average pay in a Vancouver organization, or at least that size?
Back then,
yeah,
I would maybe get average, maybe $25 a week.
That's brutal, eh?
Yeah. It didn't even pay for my parking.
Yeah, that's a good point, because this is right downtown, guys, too, and so parking is a expensive thing to do.
Yeah. I got towed twice.
Wow.
Yeah. And numerous parking tickets. Because you're always in a rush, right? So you park in the wrong parking spot. Then you think, okay, I'll go move my car. And then you get all wrapped up in everything. And then at the end of the night, you come out and you can't find your car because it's been towed.
Lorna says, with only 3 people on course on the weekend, the staff pay must suck. Yeah. I mean, I think there might have been a couple more people. There might have been up to 5 people who arrived, because I know some people were being informed of our presence, Nathaniel and I, and they went in the back door, because there were some people I saw inside who I didn't see actually go in the front door. So Hans Christian Schwartz, generally would not be enough to rent a cardboard box on the street. Yeah, in Vancouver, it's very expensive to live. So
geez.
This next clip here is actually, again, this is probably the most vile demonstration of how Scientology is a cult, because this gentleman is coming by, he's entering, he's a Scientologist, he's a public, and he gets ripped into the org once he's talking to me. This is just, it's so blatant to me. I can't believe they don't see it. But and the guy pulling him in, he's a younger gentleman there. His name is Colin Shot, as far as I believe.
You think
and he's
that's
one of the
Colin?
ones
Okay, we'll discuss that after.
I'm pretty sure it's Colin, but I've been told it is. Yeah, this is a Class 5 org.
I'm going to look closely.
Just gonna let this guy. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to course. What's your name? Ken?
Yes.
My name is Jeff. What course are you on? What course are you on? Sorry.
I'm doing some auditor training.
Oh, cool. What level?
0.
Nice. Well, enjoy. Try not to get too sucked in. And sir, I'm going to make one comment here. Level 0 auditor is level 0 is the end phenomena for an auditor, or for a PC, is the ability to communicate on any subject freely. That's the first thing that's like the end of it. That's what you attain. And this guy is obviously doing pretty good because he's able to talk to me, but as you'll see soon, that's not okay to the
An
staff
end will be
members.
put to that communication.
Yeah. Level
0.
Nice. Well, enjoy. Try not to get too sucked into the cult.
Maybe you guys should do some research.
Hey man, I've been a Scientologist for almost 30 years. Look at that, guys. Just gets yanked in. So like he goes to grab him. He doesn't, like, he kind of touches his arm. He doesn't really respond to like, he doesn't go in immediately. And then Colin like grabs him and literally physically pulls him in. It's just insane to me.
It's very aggressive. Let's
watch that again.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if
Maybe you guys should do some research.
Hey man, I've been a Scientologist for almost 30 years. Look at that, guys. Just gets yanked in.
Definitely not a cult.
Yeah, definitely not a cult, says Nathaniel.
And even inside, he also sort of pushes him forward and like pushing him towards the reception desk. Like, it's very, very aggressive. I can't tell you that that's Colin Shot. I worked very closely I actually hired Colin Shot.
Oh.
And
I've been told
Colin Shot or Ben.
It's not Ben, that's for sure.
Okay.
I've been told by somebody who knows him that that's Colin. I think that's the same person, but I could be wrong. I don't recognize him myself. I only knew his parents. So, is there anything else you wanted to say about that one?
Well, honestly, if that is Colin Shot, there is quite a story about him when he was being sent down to Florida for training. And
what was his training for?
He was going to actually be, I believe, magistrate, because he was supposedly HCO qualified.
Interesting.
Which is why I was very excited at the time to have him, because, trying to find people who are qualified for that division is very difficult.
Yeah.
So he went down and he got through some courses, and then something came up in his auditing, and it was just, it's very personal information, but I want to give it because I want people to understand how you are treated in Scientology. So he's the hero. He's down there. He's going to be a Scientology magistrate, which is a big deal. And there are few and far between magistrates in Class 5 orgs.
Now, can you clarify the difference between like an ethics officer and a magistrate? Like, what's the difference?
It's the training level. They're very highly trained in ethics. They're also, I believe, Class 4 auditor. They're trained in all the ethics technology. The training lineup to be a magistrate is huge. All the courses that they take. So they're an auditor, a fully fledged auditor, and a fully fledged ethics officer.
Right. And like an ethics specialist. Like, this is
an
like
ethics specialist.
massive.
It's major. So it came up that he was having just thoughts about homosexuality. Just thoughts.
Wow.
And as soon as that happened, he got the boot.
Yeah.
They literally, it happened the next day. He was off the property.
Wow.
And we were told, over to you, handle him. It was just like so hard. Even when I was in there, I was like, this is insane. It's like, now they're thought police. That's what they are. I couldn't believe it. This guy, he was totally devastated. So anyways, he was kicked out of Flag, and then he was sent to the other org in Florida. I think it may have been Tampa. And he was told, this was a program he was given. He was supposed to buy a bunch of interrogation auditing on his own dime. And he was basically stuck there, and he wasn't being brought back to Vancouver. It's like nobody knew what to do with him. I'm just like, come home. And he's like, well, if I come home, then I probably won't be able to come back if I don't get this handled. It was such a mess. Anyways.
Jesus Christ. I didn't know about that.
And that's just one example, dude. It's one example of the shit that happens to people down there.
Yeah. I mean, specifically down there too, security, quote unquote, is very high down there. But like when Scientology says that it's okay, it doesn't matter if you're gay or, any of the non-hetero, mindsets or whatever, right? Like if you swing anything other than hetero, oh, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You can be a Scientologist. That's what they say.
Yeah.
But you won't be able to go clear. You can't go on the OT levels. You'll be considered a security threat. Like this is what they think. They put across this image of it's fine, but it's not okay. And they will,
even if you have thoughts.
Thoughts.
It's crazy.
And so here's the weird thing about it to me too. And even like when I was in, because I've never been like, never had the idea that homosexuality or anything in that realm was wrong. My dad sure did and still does. But I've always been like, I don't care. Like it makes no difference to me. Don't, let me be me and I'll let you be you. That was always my thought. And I always thought to myself, well, if we're Thetans who have lived countless lifetimes, we've been girls, we've been boys, we've been whatever. And the reasoning behind not liking homosexuality makes no sense to me, or thoughts of same-sex stuff, because those in theory are just like a restimulation of past lives. You're just like in that valence of a past life. Who cares? Right? Like, why should it matter? And that's one thing that just never quite made sense to me, why it was a problem, but it definitely is in Scientology, because right in Dianetics, if you're a homosexual or anything like that, you're 1-1, you're not to be trusted. You're there to destroy things, everything, right? Like that's a definitive thing.
Yeah, you're better off in bed with an adder, which is a snake.
Yep. Yeah.
I'll never forget
so cut
that.
And dry.
Yeah, it's so gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hetero, gay. Whatever color you like, you should be okay for a thing. Exactly. Thetans don't have any genders. Like, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, anything and the response to anything that is not a survival, quote unquote, sexual activity in Scientology is swift and harsh.
Yeah.
And not something that's been gone over very much, but the reference pain and sex and the handlings that you have to do if you look at porn or have any kind of weird out 2D sexual activity is phenomenal. It's harsh.
Yeah.
So,
like
but it's control.
when I was having to get people do their life history, that was part of the how would you call it? It was part of the application to go to Flag. One of the things you have to do is sit down and write your entire life history. And you have to write down every single person that you had sex with. Every single
Yeah.
person. And not just, oh, yeah, we had sex. It's what exactly did you do?
Yep.
So if there's anything that comes up that was not normal or, quote, aberrated, that had to be handled.
And what does handling mean?
So you had to do some sort of ethics condition on it or get some sort of re-education on it, basically trying to, you just have to do a handling so that you understand that sexual deviation is not okay.
Yeah.
And
It's a
that would be
conversion
considered.
therapy type thing.
Yeah, it is. Exactly. Conversion. Oh my God, I never even thought about it that way.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
I
It's
never even thought
completely,
about it that way.
yeah. It's
Oh
just,
my
it's the same
God,
thing. It's the same thing. It's conversion
I
therapy.
never
It's
thought
just the
about it.
Scientology version of it, right? It's the same purpose.
I
It's to stop people,
participated in that, Jeff. It's horrible.
but you're
It's
not now, Gabe, and
I know, but still.
you're helping to spread the information based on your experience, and that's important. So please don't feel bad about it.
This is why this stuff is so dangerous. Like there's it goes so deep into your psyche, you
Yeah.
know? It's terrible. I
Well, I
wasn't
got a
expecting
little
to
bit.
cry, Jeff. Thanks.
Oh, jeez. Sorry. But so I got, it's funny because I get a little bit of flack for harassing people outside of orgs, right? On this one video I posted. And I'm like, I'm not harassing anybody, first of all. I'm saying hello to
No.
them. Yes, I exist. I'm existing outside the org. But when have I ever harassed anybody unless they're like going after me right away? Then I'll definitely like, I will throw it back because I can respond with the best of them. But I just think it's hilarious. And I think I started to kind of feel bad, like, oh, I got a little introverted on it. And like, oh man, maybe I am kind of being an asshole. But no, because this is what they're doing. It's conversion therapy, it's disconnection, it's abuse, like it's high control, like it's all these bad things. I don't feel bad about it. They need to be stopped. Period. This needs to stop. I couldn't give a shit if people believe in Scientology beliefs as long as they don't act badly towards people and control other people's lives. I don't care. Just like I don't care if someone's a Jew or a Muslim or anything like that. I couldn't give a shit, right? But it's the actions that are happening. It's the control. It's the damage. That needs to stop. And that's the only point of my channel. That's the only point of me right now is exposing things so it doesn't happen to another kid, right? I'm getting all fired up now.
I know. It's like it's turning into anger with me too. It's like this is fucked up. Oopsie, sorry. Hopefully you won't get demonetized.
I don't give a shit.
I'm not monetized anyway, so I don't give a shit.
Anyway, yeah, it's just I don't feel bad for standing outside this org that told me that if I unalive myself, I would just come back worse than I was. I don't feel bad for this org 6 weeks ago convincing my dad to disconnect from me because I made some videos on the internet. I don't feel bad. So if any of you guys are watching and made that comment, suck it. You know, I couldn't give a shit. You know, I just don't care. I will continue to do this, and I will continue to be a thorn in the side of Vancouver Scientology for as long as I possibly can.
Absolutely.
That's a promise. And maybe, actually, technically, I will say, I will toot my own little horn. I am an international Scientology enemy because I've been to 3 countries.
Bravo! Hip hip hooray!
I don't know if anyone else has done that. Actually, maybe I'm the first.
I think you are, Jeff.
Nice.
There you go. You got some clout now.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of harassment, would you guys like to see how Scientology harasses people with cameras? I know I would. This next clip. So this is Marisella. Is that her name?
Yeah.
You hired her, correct?
I hired her too.
Okay. So
This
she's not
sucks.
on. I don't think she's on staff now. I think she's a
No.
public.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing I learned about her too, and I don't think this is you that told me this, but someone else. It was someone else. She is actually an illegal PC, which means she can't get auditing, because her son, who she abandoned in Venezuela,
Yeah.
to be here for some reason. Maybe you can enlighten us on that in a sec. But
Mhm.
because her son is on psychiatric drugs, she can now not go up the bridge because of that connection. And this is how she acts towards someone who says hello to her in a very friendly way, I must say. They are. I am happy to be here. I'm going to come here more often for sure. It's fun to confront Scientologists. Hello.
What are you doing here?
What are we doing? Well, we're filming. What are you doing here? Oh, gives me the finger. We just got the finger. There. And then she goes in there at reception while she's signing in, continues to give me the finger. There you go, guys. This is religion, my friends. Wow. You guys see that? She just gave me the bird. Very rude. Very rude. It is very rude. Like, what's
Not
up with
cool.
that?
So she's spicy.
Yeah. She is spicy. She is a spicy one for sure. Now that I know her name, I can make sure to, because I didn't know it at the time, I will make sure to say hello, and I will ask her, how do you miss your son? Right? Like,
Oh, you're gonna get a reaction on that
good.
one.
I want it. I want that
So
reaction.
he's in a facility because he was born handicapped, mentally handicapped.
This is disgusting to hear, by the way, when I heard this.
Yeah, and she sees him maybe when she was with me, it probably was 2 years or so that she hadn't seen him.
Her kid,
And
her child.
yeah. I don't even think she was a landed immigrant. So she came from Caracas, Venezuela. And along with her husband, who she had separated from. It's a really, really messed up story. And she was on staff for a little bit. I hired her. And then she couldn't hardly support herself. So I don't know what happened in Caracas, why she left. I can't remember, because it was a very, she kept the story quite secretive, and she never ended up she never got put on a meter or anything like that about it. But she did tell me that, yeah, she had she actually called him retarded.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you, I saw pictures of him and stuff like that. She could not handle him, and so she put him in a facility. So if he's under psychiatric care, and he has been for his entire life.
Yeah, and she's
flipping you the finger, the bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For nothing. I just said hello. Like, I've never seen that lady. Well, I have seen her before, like years ago, but she didn't recognize me for Adam. But the instant reaction, "What are you doing here?" and then flips me off. Like, come on, have a conversation. Communication, though, is not Scientologist's strong point. Let's just say that.
No. And what's crazy is she's been a struggling Scientologist ever since she was in Vancouver, like never made it up the bridge, nothing. So I don't know. I don't understand what her loyalty is to a cult that hasn't actually done anything for her. It's pathetic.
It is strange. Her situation's weird. Like,
she's got a very strange situation.
She's got something shady in her past, right? Like, for sure.
Yeah, her and her husband have something. So, in Venezuela, there's some pretty harsh unrest there, and they their economy just crapped out. There was revolution, more or less, and I know that her husband was also part of some sort of political party that was against the government, and they were after him. So, and he was also a Scientologist at the same time.
Gotcha. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Scientology really tried to get into Venezuela, and they used it as like an excuse to extract more money from their parishioners as well in events about how they're getting government officials and police and handing out way to happiness booklets and all this stuff, and they're basically taking over and fixing Venezuela. But I don't think any of that's true.
Yeah.
Much like most of their claims are not true. So
Yeah.
pretty
Anyways.
typical. So this next one's just a funny one because if anyone has seen my original video of my first audit, this lady who I'm going to show here, the gates were open exactly the same way, and she noticed me filming, and then she overshot the gate that she needed to go into staff so much that I didn't even think she was a Scientologist because I don't recognize this lady, although I think I know who it is now.
Do you?
But yeah, it was great. And then she like, oh, I just passed my door and I had to double back and go in. And so I just wanted to validate her this time for doing a good job. Oh, this lady is on staff here too. Hey, don't. This is the lady who missed the door last time. The door is right here. And perfect, nailed it. Nailed it. And that's just funny. I'm such a jackass sometimes, but yeah, she absolutely nailed that entrance.
So just a point of the Asian lady, it is very rare to see somebody Asian on staff. There are few and far between because it is such an elitist cult. And I know she's on staff because she was in the chapel for the staff muster. So and you could actually see her taking off her coat and putting it onto the pew. That's exactly what the staff member, when you come in, anyways, she's a staff member.
I remember when I was on staff though, we used to muster upstairs.
Yeah,
but
we
now
did.
it's in the chapel.
Yeah.
So I wonder why. I did, by the way, so everyone knows, I did break out the stick of truth a little bit later on. And I got a little bit of footage. I'm not going to show it today, but I'll pop it in there in a later one. But I got some footage inside the org, which,
in my office, in my old office.
No, I didn't get into the office yet.
I could have shown you all the furniture I bought.
Right, it wasn't quite long enough, but you can always get extensions. Also, technically, I could get a drone and fly a drone up there if I wanted to. As long as no one was around, as long as it was a mini drone, I could do that. But anyway, cool. So this next clip is, I think it's gonna be actually the last clip we're gonna show today. But this is me confronting Larry Dutton, and perhaps Gabe, perhaps you want to set this up because obviously, break out the tissues. You set this up, and then I'll play the clip. Tell us who Larry is.
Larry Dutton is my brother-in-law. My sister, who disconnected from me, she passed away 3 years ago. So Larry is on his own now. And I don't know what else to say about it. It's just really sad. Larry disconnected from 2 of his kids. He's still sort of connected to Chris. But I hear through the grapevine, Chris is the youngest, that Chris tries to spend as little time as possible with his own father.
Understandably so.
Yeah, and at one point, they all hate the cult. They all hate the cult. They were all exposed to it at a very young age and very much neglected because Anita and Larry just spent a lot of time down at the org. And at one point just before they disconnected, Ashley and his father had a conversation, and Ashley was very distraught because his wife and child were taken away from him by Scientology, by my sister and Sharon, who was the DSA. And so he was basically pleading, like, I want my family back. And he had mentioned unaliving himself at one point. Not that he was totally serious about it. But you know, when you're in one of those kind of mental breakdowns and somebody's trying to take your family away, you do tend to could have those ideations. And Larry, his father, said to him, well, you might be better off just doing that. Try again next lifetime.
Yeah, it's so disgusting, because that's what was said to me, right? Basically the same thing. Like, you're just going to come back worse. So it's kind of like, it's no big deal. There's no importance on it, you know? And in fact, in reality, they look at it as what's called a surfac, which is called it's a service facsimile, or something that you're using to prove you right and others wrong. And basically make everyone seem like they're the bad guy and not you. And
it's not a good thing.
It's a bad thing. Like, if you're surfacking, which is not something I hear very often on this in streams and stuff. It's like, it's a really bad thing, and it means you need auditing on it.
Yeah.
Like, it
means you have evil purposes and all this other kind of bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. So I must be surfacking when I go down to the org.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, with all that very long setup, I will give you my interaction. I felt it was important to set it up because of what I say to Larry. Now, when I will, because you probably can't hear it very well, I will say that Larry responded to my first question when I said I have a question for you. He said, no, you don't. And I said, I do. And then he goes, answer. You're playing the wrong game. The older gentleman. There we go. Oh, it's Simon too. No, yeah, he is late. He is late for post. For sure. Hey, Larry. I have a question for you. Yeah, I do. Do you miss your kids? Do you miss your kids?
I love my kids.
I know, but they... So you hear that? What he just said.
You're on the wrong team.
Do you miss your kids? Do you miss your kids?
I love my kids.
He does not love his kids. And I think that's very apparent because he disconnected from them. I know, but you don't talk to them, do you? You're disconnected from them, aren't you? Do you think family disconnection is okay, Larry? Have a good day, Simon. You guys are late, by the way. Flunk.
Can I say something, Jeff? Yeah, I am so glad you said that to him. I was just like, first I was like, oh my God. But I am so glad you said that. Those are the kind of things that need to be said to these people to just make some sort of attempt to plant a seed. Yeah. He's like 72 years old, you know? It's so disgusting. And the reason I said that, it was not for me, it was for you, because I asked you what you wanted me to say to him. Yeah. And I did promise you I would. Yeah, it's disgusting. I've said it before and I'll say it again, and I will probably say it 10 more times after that. There's no love in Scientology. Scientology does not have love. I don't even know if there's a definition for love in Scientology in anywhere. It's never mentioned. I guess maybe in The Way to Happiness, love and honor your parents or some shit like that. But there is no love. There's ARC, which is not love. It's not the same thing. Because it's all dependent and on something. Yeah, it's conditional. You have to have something. It's conditional, exactly. Yeah. And as soon as, like you guys saw in my first clip here with Kathy, there was love there. Like she had that feeling towards me. Like she recognized me. She had affinity towards me and everything. But as soon as she knew that I was evil, quote unquote, she was ushered off, and her opinions now changed to me. Oh yeah. You know, so next time I see her, she's not going to rush to me and give me a hug, even though it was okay just then. You see, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. And she's known you since you were a wee little boy. Like I was teeny tiny. I babysat Kyle, like, because he's younger than me. I used to be his babysitter, and I was actually on post
in 96 with Angela. She was the DSA PR person.
Right. Yeah.
And I was the drug-free marshals in charge. And
Mhm.
she was the deputy PR. Joanna Young was the PR person. There's another person.
Ugh.
There's another person.
Yeah.
Anyway, we won't talk about her, but she's a piece of work.
Yeah.
But
Good
it
Lord.
just, there's no love. And that's the point of this, like to show it.
Yeah, their definition or the way they show, like, I'm even surprised that he actually said that, "I love my children." And
Me too.
he has 3 boys and he has a daughter from when he was a teenager who
Oh, really?
who basically kicked him. Yeah, she's it's like the half sister of Ash, Kels,
Oh.
and Chris, and she's up in Prince George, and her and her husband won't let him come to their house anymore because he never shuts up about Scientology. And all they want to do is spend some time with him and just, like he was out of her life for a very long time. I think by the time they reconnected, I think she was in her 50s maybe or 40s. I remember meeting her. But she wants nothing to do with Scientology, but he won't shut up about it. So he's lost all his family on his side, which is 3 brothers and 2 sisters and all the grandkids and stuff like that. And now he's lost his 2 sons and his daughter. He's alone. This man will die alone. It's so horrible. It really is. And he's actually a nice guy. But he's so fucked in the head.
Yeah. I guess he has Simon.
Yeah. And I think Simon's probably close to 80. He's like, it's so sad.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting, and I'm glad that I'm seeing this now, how things are going with the staff before the new executives come back.
Yeah.
Because they think that this is gonna like expand the org and make everything standard and stuff. My prediction is it's gonna scare people away. I think staff are gonna leave in droves. James will I don't think people understand the ethics that is gonna get put into this org. The heavy hand, the hammer of justice that's going to be put in this org against all these people. Like, they're not opening their gates. They're not putting their sign out. They're not actively promoting. Like, there's nothing there that's being done as standard. And all of a sudden their lives are going to completely change. Much like things changed when the Golden Age of Knowledge, Golden Age of Tech came out. It just chips away at the periphery of the people who just can't handle that kind of pressure, and I suspect that a lot of people are going to leave staff. That's my guess.
It's just going to get worse. Like, I remember the heavy ethics. I mean, it's sort of, Scientology has evolved and it's getting more and more nasty, more, I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah.
It's getting more and more disciplined.
It's like North Korea almost. Like, it's just controlled.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it will blow people off, but who is going to stay are extremely hardcore people that are completely and utterly brainwashed.
But they're in fear. That's the thing, right? Like, it's just so obvious.
Like, honestly, Larry has no place to go right now. Like, what would he do? And I thought about that. It's like, what the hell will he do? He has everybody in his life are Scientologists.
Yeah.
And his family, like, I talked to his brother, his oldest brother, who was like this. They were close. They were like in a band together. Just so you guys know, Larry is actually a fantastic musician.
Yeah.
But he's like, I want nothing to do with him. He's like cuckoo. He won't shut up about Scientology.
Yeah. He's the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, he promotes it the most, I think, like especially because his post is the bookstore officer, and he's
Yeah.
a firm believer in the lectures and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
He preaches.
he preaches it, and he thinks that because he listened to lectures, that when he fell off a 30-foot roof and almost killed himself,
Yeah,
when he
cracked his
came
head.
to, yeah, he cracked his head. He was in a coma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when he came to, he says that he was fine because he listened to these lectures. Like that's the level of insanity that's going on in this guy's head,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's crazy.
So, and Han says,
Right.
and just to make one point, do not believe for 1 second that any Scientologist will be around when he dies. Yeah.
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 And
That's the thing.
just a quick
People,
note too.
yeah.
When he was in the hospital, he was in the hospital for 3 weeks. I don't think he was in a coma for the whole time, but I got a message from my other nephew, and Chris said he's very concerned about Larry going home from the hospital because none of those assholes in there will actually look after him. And they're all Scientologists. They like renting a room. It's like a flop house, right, for Scientologists. I think Keith Kinvig lives there, and et cetera, et cetera.
Really?
Yeah.
So I guess him and Fariba aren't together anymore, hey?
Oh no, they've separated. Probably divorced. Yeah, Fariba's smart. Anyways, oh my God, we could just so easily go into the whole soap opera of all these crazy Scientologists and
I
their
know.
crazy lives that they lead.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I had no idea. I knew that obviously Larry and Simon are living together because they always arrive at the same time. Unless Larry drives Simon, I don't know. Maybe they take the
Probably.
bus, but I had no idea that Keith and other people were staying in that flop house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Are we done?
So those are all the clips that I have.
This was emotional. I wasn't expecting this.
I know. Well, you know what? It's pretty tough even to go there. Like I would love it if you were out here, if we went there, but honestly, the amount of emotions that go through me as I'm arriving, I can only imagine what it'd be like for you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like your trauma is so much deeper and more recent.
It's recent.
I know I'm not saying that's like better or worse or whatever. I just think
I get what you're
different,
saying.
and it's a bit more multifaceted, I think, than mine. But not to discount my trauma or anything.
Of course not.
Or say that you have it any better. But
like honestly, we were talking about like with Blow Drill Dylan, we were talking about resilience. I tell you, I listen to these stories of all the second generation kids, and even like the guys that have left. Like the resiliency that people have is always just blows my mind. Like Dylan's story is like, oh my God, it is so horrific. And that guy is he's so bloody zen. I want to take some of him and like, I want some of that. He's just such a beautiful being. And he's been through such horrendous experiences. But there's a lot of resiliency. If anything, Scientology actually has toughened people up so they could survive afterwards. I mean, I don't want to give any credit to Scientology, but like it creates this personality in you, or this strength in you, because you were so abused and so mistreated that you get stronger. You just get stronger as a person. Like I've gone through shit. I've gone through like a lot of shit, but I haven't given up, and I think a lot of people would have. And a lot of people do give up.
Yeah, you're right. I would almost kind of liken it to like MMA fighters, where they're toughening up their bodies so they can take bigger and bigger hits.
Yeah.
They're still damaged, but they're able to take more of a abuse, which at least for us psychologically, that's not a good thing necessarily. Like,
No.
You know, like, but my skin is very thick. They can say anything they want to me and it doesn't matter. They have no control over me anymore, which is the important thing for me anyway, right? And I'm just going to keep going back and going back, because they don't want me to, which makes me want to even
Yeah,
more.
and it would be really good if there was other people that would join you as well. And I mean,
I'd love
those
it.
never ends, man. I tell you, kudos. I can't believe how much support comes from people who have never been in this crazy cult. It's
Yeah.
truly amazing. The support is phenomenal.
Well, and you're told that those never ends. The people outside are insane and are asleep and so forth, but they're the ones that are awake. They're the ones that can see what happened to us and be like, oh yeah, that was a cult. Oh yeah, that was damaging. Oh yeah, that was that. Like, they don't even have to think about it, whereas we have to think about it because
Yeah.
we were indoctrinated to believe a certain way, right?
Yeah, they understand. They know what abuse is, you know? They know what all this stuff is about. And I mean, a lot of them have experienced their own trauma as well, so they can obviously relate, right?
Yeah.
But just having that understanding, knowing somebody who understands what you've been through or can empathize is huge, because you don't get that kind of understanding in Scientology. It's like cut off. You know what I mean? It's like there's no understanding. You're on your own to, like, you have to survive on your own in Scientology. If you don't, you just get shit on. Right? There's no real support there.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
Scientology is
doesn't
like the
kill you.
Spanish
That's right.
Inquisition. What doesn't kill you will make you stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, my dear, there are a
You
few
got some.
comments
Sure.
that we should go over real quick and then we will wrap it up. But before we do, please want to let you guys know that if you are interested in supporting either of our channels, please do make sure you like and subscribe. And if you want to support in a financial way, I have a membership program, and Gabe has a buy me a coffee. I also have that too. We have some things in the works that we will need a little bit of help with. So that any help would be much appreciated.
I need a
But no
gimbal.
worries. Yeah, Gabe does need a gimbal. I do too. I'm picking one up soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, mine crapped out yesterday.
Yeah.
I want to make sure to have non-shaky video. It's just so much more enjoyable. Now that I see shaky video, it's like, you can't go back, right? So
Yeah.
cool. And yeah, any help is much appreciated. But
Yes, please.
let's go through these comments, starting with George Massey here.
George Massey Tunnel.
Gabe, how very dare you disparage my tunnel? Psst, I agree.
I just have to say, this tunnel thing, I can remember when I was in elementary school, politicians talking about this bloody tunnel. It gets so congested. Anyways, it's really stupid, and it still has not been resolved. It's
No.
just so crazy. BC.
Well, every time a new government comes in, like
they
NDP
changed the
or
plan.
Liberal or whatever, they go, "Oh, we're going to scrap that. We have a whole new plan." It's like, oh shit! Now we got to wait another 5-10 years, and then it just switches again. So it's
Yeah. Let me tell you,
typical
Jeff.
politics.
Let me tell you, Jeff. In Ontario, the transport system, the road system is incredible. Like, you
Yeah.
have so many different routes to get to one place. Anywhere I go here, like when we drive into London or Kitchener, there's never traffic. Never any traffic. Imagine that. Just imagine for a moment, no traffic.
Hey, I don't commute for work, so I never have traffic anyway. So
Anyways, I had to say
cool.
that.
What's next?
Okay, question.
Never heard of a magistrate before. Is that a new
Oh,
invention?
no.
No.
It's been around for a long time. They actually, long ago, remember Bob Shoveldave?
I see him every now and then.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was trained as a magistrate.
That's an old name.
Yeah.
Gabe, even if you are now out of the cult, how much do you have to struggle with it still? Well, this is
A
a big
lot.
one. Yeah.
A lot.
You can
It's
go
daily.
you can go as deep in that as if you want, or we can move on as well. So
Like I get help. I have to find my husband and I, we're both retired. So, and I never had a pension because I made Scientology my career. So, fortunately, my husband has a pension and we have savings, but that's supposed to last us. So, and getting therapy is very expensive. So I've managed to find like Janice Shelby. I've found like support groups, and I'm doing. I have to keep educating myself, but it's hard because there's relapses all the time, and yeah, I think as you get older and you have like unhandled trauma and stuff, or having trauma later on in life, it takes a toll on you. Like physically, I'm not well, and neither is my husband. So it to be totally honest, it's a daily struggle to keep your head above water and to try and make sense of your life and stuff. And it's one of the reasons why I started this YouTube channel, because I want people to know how dangerous it is to be in a cult at any age, at any time. It's never a good day to be in a cult. But yeah, it's like I'm very triggered by things. But I do have good days. I have two lovely little dogs. One is a little ankle biter, and they bring a lot of joy. They bring a lot of joy to our life. And I've got my nephew and niece who I absolutely adore. So yeah, there are obviously some bright spots, and then I have Jeff too, who's one of the brighter stars in my life.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Love you too. Smooth Steve, SBTV in New York City. Your experiences are highly unique to Scientology in so many ways for obvious reasons, but the feelings you have are universal and as human as anything else. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Steve, of course, is a never in. So he's referring to the fact that, our experiences are unique, but our feelings are universal.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Lorna, it would be interesting to see an audit of the public showing up for an event. Well,
I'm trying.
gosh,
I'm trying to figure that one out.
Maybe we'll have that planned out pretty soon here.
Or something. Stay
tuned to my channel for an announcement within the next couple weeks. Auntie, question, is there something to be said about the people in the quote unquote church that could change their minds?
No.
It's funny because there was a comment on one of my videos. Who was it again? I forget the name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They were saying that there's 3 different reasons that for people to protest, and one's to like reach people who are who stop people from going in the future. But I think the most important reason for protesting is to stop people from going in. So educating those who are not in. A side benefit would be to try and get some people out. But frankly, the people who are in right now are pretty darn dedicated and they have a reason to be in. And so you could spend a lot of time to try and extract somebody. But I'd rather just have 20 people not join than one person not in, if that makes sense, right? Like it's much easier of a goal to stop people from joining and just educate them on what Scientology really is.
I stopped somebody from joining Scientology just yesterday. What's today? Monday? Saturday.
That's right. You did.
That was crazy. It was one of my group sessions. A lady pulled out a book, Self-Analysis, that she picked up, hoping that it would help her. Yeah. And I was horrified. Yeah. Anyways, she has gotten rid of the book.
Burn it.
But this is a crazy thing, and why we have to keep doing this, because they're a little bit innovative in that they're doing stuff online now. Like there was
Mhm.
one of the gals that you interviewed. She got into it on the internet, right?
Well, yeah.
How
So
did she-
Cass did courses, or sorry, lectures or something like that, Zoom calls with
Yeah,
Bridge Publications in the beginning of her intro to Scientology. Yeah,
like that.
it's amazing.
That never happened. Like what? Yeah, there she is.
And here we go, Theta Novus Cass. She has her own YouTube channel as well.
Oh, cool.
Jeff, you should make a Shatter Me T-shirt if you haven't already. Yeah, I haven't already. The thing is, so you guys can definitely buy my merch, which helps support me, including this cup.
That's an awesome
Um,
cup, Jeff.
yeah, I know. It is actually, it's a really good mug for coffee, but it's just, to be honest, it's kind of expensive for Canadians. It's fine for Americans and actually even UK people.
Yeah.
But the shipping is so expensive because I don't think there's a fulfillment thing in Canada for fourth
Mm.
wall. And so it's just like the price ends up being so high and I feel bad. I've lowered the price like pretty much at cost, but there's nothing I can do with the price, unfortunately. So
I wonder if there's
but
another company you can go through.
yeah, it's something I'm working on to see if I can get a bit more affordable, at least for Canadians, because it's affordable for Americans.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, Kim McNeil, hey, fair warning to Toronto Org. We're going back later today. I think that's at what, 5 p.m. Eastern time. That
Is it?
that will be amazing. And if anyone who doesn't know who Kim is, we had a little interview yesterday. She is the other local Ontarian who is fighting against Scientology in Ontario. And you guys should definitely go support her. Her YouTube channel is at Scientology_is_my_ruin there on YouTube. And I think my lovely wife has put a link in the chat because she's amazing.
Jeff, I figured something out.
Uh-oh.
How to actually just post under my own name. You have to go, there's a little arrow pointing down.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that? I just figured that out. See, I'm a techno genius.
You're so SMRT. All right, Gabe. Well, thank you very much for joining me with recounting my amazing visit and, of course, going on at least 20 different tangents with me, as is common.
Anytime.
Have one topic and we end up talking for over an hour. And thank everyone for all the support, liking, subscribing, buying coffees and so forth. And thank you all for the replay crew for joining. And if you are watching on the replay crew, feel free to leave a comment in the comments. It helps push the video out and makes me more popular. And I just love being popular.
Yes, Mr. Popular. And just a note from my end on my channel, I'm halfway to my watch hours.
Watch hours. Cool.
Yeah. So I need more. So feel free to watch this stuff on my channel as well.
Yeah, maybe just pop over there and just let it play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really helps out. So,
but thank you, everyone. It's been wonderful.
And thank you again, Gabe. We'll see you guys soon.
Love.
Nola, how's it going?
For fuck's sake.
For fuck's sake, she says. What's your post?
Well, what are you doing?
I'm not on staff, that's for sure.
You're definitely filming something.
Anyway, I gotta go because I'm gonna get in shit if I keep talking to you. You know that.
But doesn't that kind of bother you a little bit? That you get in shit for communicating with somebody?